your body designer. We go bomb picking till we tire. We got it till we die. And we keep going higher. It's your birthday. It's your birthday.
Imagine if you can get all the understanding on some of the difficult subjects you struggle with in school. As a student, do you feel dissatisfied with how hard it is to figure out the subjects you're learning? Or as a parent or guardian, do you worry that your child is struggling to understand some of the subjects in school? Well, now you don't need to sign up for extra lessons or tutors. Simply tune in to Class Act, Mondays to Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. on City TV. Class Act is a show that seeks to enable senior high school students gain a much better understanding of what they learn in school. All you need is a TV, a chair, your notebook, and your pen. Get clarity on subjects such as maths, English, IT, and science. Class Act airs every Monday to Thursday at 5:30 p.m. on City TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182. Don't forget your pens, pencils, and your notebooks and tune in to Class Act, only on City TV.
Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Daily. It's a beautiful, beautiful Thursday, and welcome to us here in Accra, wherever you're watching us in the world. Welcome to Breakfast Daily. My name is David Kweku Sechi.
And I am Jifa Ekuya Amecham. We're so grateful to be alive after what happened last night.
Yes, we are. So Jifa, I mean, for me, I think it's an important, thing for us to remember that earthquakes are real, okay? And as much as Ghana has been spared, all these years, any major disasters, we should remember that as far back as 1939, some people died in Ghana. Apparently another year to some miners also died, in Takwa when there was also another earthquake. So it's a real thing that we experience, all right? So we fortunately have been spared. Any major, like, the US, I mean, I hear about California. When I was a kid, I used to hear all the time, stadia will collapse and all kinds of things would happen. But thankfully, we don't have those, ghastly disasters in Ghana as much. But yesterday was an earthquake, and it took place here in Accra.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I slept through it, but a lot of people woke up today thinking, okay, what do you do? I think a friend of mine was like, she went outside because she's like, I'm not trying to get hit by my table. We need to start having conversations about what to do.
I think it's important
when something like this happens.
When I was in secondary school, surface that is strong and sturdy, that's as close to your body as possible. Do you see? Because what you don't want to happen is something that is descending at velocity to hit you on impact. So sometimes you want to run outside, but if you're going to run outside, make sure it's a wide open space. It's important because buildings will also collapse, in the case of that.
Welcome. It's Breakfast Daily on City TV. It's an interactive show, so wherever you're watching us from, we want to hear from you. use the hashtag Breakfast Daily to contribute to the conversation.
Yes, and we have a WhatsApp line as well as 0550-585832. If you happen to be outside Ghana, kindly use the country code +233.
Now, every morning we start the show with our quote of the day, so we'll take a look at our quote today.
Yes, so the quote of the day today comes from Michael John Bobak, who is a digital abstract artist and also a singer-songwriter. He says, all progress takes place outside the comfort zone. All progress takes place outside the comfort zone. How true this statement is. You know, there's nothing that you can call advancement within your comfort zone. It won't happen. You know, so whether it means working longer hours, whether it means sleeping less, whatever it means, outside your comfort zone is the only place that progress takes place. I love that quote.
Completely agree. And speaking of comfort zone, a couple of weeks ago, the university students' final year had to go back to school.
Yeah.
And we've been wondering how are they, my students will be joining us to share their experience with us. And throughout our conversation with them, you can ask questions you have for them. The hashtag is Breakfast Daily, and the WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. If you have a child or here go back to school come Monday, what are the things you're doing with them? What are the conversations you're having with them that we can all learn from? I think we should all use this opportunity to really cheer on any final year high schooler we know, any final year university student, any final year JHS student, because I can't imagine having to study in the midst of all these things. You have family members who've lost their jobs. You have breadwinners who are now struggling. To tune out all of these things and say, I'm going to concentrate and pass my exams is something that we can't even relate to because we didn't have to deal with that. And I think we all need to provide them that emotional and psychological support they need.
Yeah, I think that it's an anxious time, you know, a time of we take so many things for granted, especially in our space where, you know, we are so used to things of comfort, and everything is middle ground, and it's not too hot, it's not too cold. You know, we don't have harsh seasons and all those things. It's very easy to take a lot of things for granted. And we find ourselves in a situation where people are actually died, you know, in this country from COVID-19, and people are getting it. And now, one thing that I'm grateful for is that people in authority are actually being named, so we know students' minds. Whatever level, through schools to the JHSs, what sort of impact it has on their mind as they have to study. This next person that I'm going to encounter may be the one who time for, especially parents, and then all those who are wards and teachers and instructors and so on, to help them to be as comfortable as they can be, both in the physical spaces where they find themselves, but also mentally. I think it's important for us to give them all the support that we can.
Yeah, and I think we can all take a cue from Accra Technical University, the way they handled it, right?
That case, yeah.
In as much as we're hearing stories of our leaders going over to the University of Ghana Medical Center to get tested, it would be nice for people to control the narrative the way the school did, right? It would be nice for us to begin embracing coronavirus with love and not fear, because the minute you start feeling to go on and survive and share my story with others, or do you think, oh, now that I have the virus here and there, so let me hide, let me not even go to get tested, you know, because I think in the very beginning more people were willing to come out to get tested, share their stories, but then in recent times we even heard of people in Parliament walking about while they know they are positive because they don't want to deal with that stigma, right? And I don't even want to focus on the people who are afraid, but us as a community, what kind of environment are we creating for people to feel safe, to say, okay, mom, dad, I'm feeling these symptoms, I think I want to go get tested, or the counselor at school. How do you engage a student who might come to you and say, teacher, this is how I'm feeling, right? And it's the way we handle these things that would really determine our humanity and our willingness to work with this, and especially for the university students and the senior high school students. They are finishing school at a time where unemployment is at an all-time high globally. You know, a lot of companies seem bleak, but it's in the way we handle it, our attitude. We can also tell them that now more than ever, there are opportunities in our manufacturing sector because we are not importing as much. Now more than ever, there's room for you to invent things, for you to innovate, for you to be creative. We've created this space that has come with the pandemic that would enable you dream as high and far as you can, and the country is ready for whatever it is that you are producing. So we really need to handle this well.
You know, the quote of the day today said that all progress begins outside the comfort zone, you know, and I think that here is the perfect, we'll come back to times that are normal again. We will come back. You know, South Africa is already developing a vaccine, and they're beginning testing and so on. So we will come back to days that are normal again. And at that time, for everybody, you know, much less the students, this is super uncomfortable for everybody. You know, so at this time, what are we doing? I know that there's a lot of people who are inventing different things. So even in Ghana, we've been inventing ventilators. In fact, I'm looking forward to hearing what the Ghana Standards Authority is going to say about you know, different inventions that we've been coming up with during this period. But as a nation, we're making some good strides. You know, production, productivity in the manufacturing sector, and so on, etc. Of all these things, so that by the time we are out of the worst of this season, we would see how much strides that we've made as a people. You know, and on this, in the student front, I want to ask every student, whether you're home now or whether you're coming back to school, and to say to those who are coming back to school in particular, okay, be as creative as you can. Make sure that this season it's not wasted, okay, and it's not treated as a normal season, a normal period in your life. All right, learn as hard as you can, push as hard as you can, get the best grades that you can in this season. This season is a season that's going to pass, and one day we'll look back and remember. All right, so get your best experiences at this time. I think it's a very important thing too.
I completely agree with it all, okay? If you've been procrastinating, you've been sitting at home, you've been stressing your child out to be perfect, participate, you just may be the one to win that 10,000 Ghana City grand prize. So if you want any more information, you can call us at 0558 973 973. And of course, if you're experiencing any problems in your community, if there are issues in your environment that are hindering your development and you want to draw policymakers' attention to it, then hello, Mr. President, is an opportunity for you to get the or send us a text of 200 email at gmail.com, or you can send it to us. The WhatsApp line is 0550585832. The WhatsApp line again is 0550585832, and we will show it on air every Wednesday at 9:30 a.m.
Yeah. So I want, there's a lot of people that have been making commentary on Facebook, on Twitter, you know, about their experiences in different locations from last night, you know, it was almost 11 p.m. when the first tremor hit. But I think I want to help for those of you who don't know where to go to check information. Let's go to the website right now. It's earthquaketrack.com. If you want to take a look at that website, earthquaketrack.com, let's take a look at the information there. If you can scroll up a little bit there, just take a look at the information as we scroll up a little bit. You'll see, okay, so this is the picture of where we are. No, let's go up. Okay, so there we find it. So approximately 6 kilometers away from Bawe, okay, about 9 hours ago, that is what happened. The information from the U.S. Geological Survey website says that the magnitude was 4.0 on the Richter scale. and it happened 6 kilometers northwest of 6 kilometers northwest of Bawe. So there you have that information. You can go and check it out yourself. Of course, if you go there, you can also click. You can also click on the zoom. There's a zoom button on the map, which will then open up, and you can go in and zero in onto the exact spot where it happened. But of course, it didn't happen close to the surface of the earth, so that's why we felt tremors and not an actual splitting of the earth. They're hoping to eventually hear from our authorities as to what data that they have on this. But this is the website that I'm picking this from, and of course this earthquaketrack.com picked their information also from the U.S. Geological Survey website. That's where they got their information from as well. So you can
cases when something like this happens,
what
kind of conversation should you have with your family members? What should you do to ensure that you're safe? Luckily, I was asleep through the whole thing, but if I had been up, I would have freaked out because I woke up this morning and I had like 10 missed calls, 20 WhatsApp messages from my friends, freaking out, trying to figure out what's going on. Are you safe?
Are you okay?
And I'm like, what happened? You know, and if the world was going to be over, would I have just slept through the entire thing? I wake up and it's already the end of the world. You know, so we need to begin to have conversations about these things, because sometimes the psychological impact alone could be worse than the event itself. I heard some people ran out of their homes, were just going about confused.
In fact, one of my friends, the Bobby Cham, he put a post up and he says, he says, I think it's about time to buy pajamas. It's jump out of bed and go.
You don't know what's happening, and you're thinking maybe the building will come tumbling down. So we really need. I mean, there's the one side of the conversation where, as a country, we need to figure out how to prepare for these things so that we don't lose as many lives as we did, the one you referred to where 150 people died in Jamestown. That's one side of the conversation. The other side is how to ensure that people are ready, they know what to do, they are not doing the wrong things, so that if you hear any signs, you automatically know. You've already started having these conversations with your family members. They know how to handle it so that you don't have to deal with the trauma that may come with it.
I think it's so important. There's an engineer, Dr. Paulina Amponsa. She's a manager of the National Data Center at the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission. And she said something. She said something very interesting, and I won't do all of it, but just read portions of it. She said, Ghana is far away. She's giving the history of earthquakes in Ghana. Dr. Paulina Amponsa said, Ghana is far away, which means we do have earthquakes, right? And therefore prone to earthquake disasters. Okay, she narrated that the first earthquake recorded in Ghana was in 1615. All right, and the event was located in Elmina. Okay, and then a fortress was destroyed. Magnitude of 5.7 around Axin. That's where the miners were killed. They were buried. They were buried alive in Axim. So there's a lot of incidents that have happened, in the past. So I think it's important for us to have the conversations. The conversations are very, very important, for us to do this. So we have one of our students online. She's going to help us to get into that feeling, the experience of what it is that they are going through right now. So this is from KNUST.
Akumfi Ameyao, I think she's she's going to introduce herself and walk us through what she's experiencing. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Hi. How are you?
Hello, is it clear enough?
Yes, can you hear us?
How are you? So tell us a bit about yourself, and if you're in school, what's going on?
Okay, so my name is Amsa Kumpiameyao. I'm from University of Ghana, and I am not in school currently because I was trying to get to the place, but there was a little bit of traffic, so I stopped somewhere to join in Brazil. I think the experience in school it's okay. It's not back to normal where like you can just walk around and be happy, play around and all of that. right now in Legon, we have a lot of people who are wearing masks, even though we have some people who aren't wearing masks. And also, I think upon arrival, certain halls were privileged to meet the MP of the constituency, where she gave out masks and she gave out hand sanitizers and things like that. So the overall experience is okay, and I don't ever think there's going to be something like back to normal, but I believe it's okay. It's relatively fine.
Okay, but what kind of conversations have your teachers been having with you as far as,
Because the lecturers who we in our WhatsApp groups, trying to wish us well, trying to speak with us that we should open up and speak to people, we should do things that we love, so that at the end of the day we are not depressed and then we are not too disturbed that we don't get the chance to do the things that we used to do regularly. So I believe the lecturers are doing the best that they can, because this is also very new to us, especially schools that have older teachers who aren't very used to technology and things like that. They are all going through a hard time, but they're trying their best. I mean, we had deadline extensions, the advices I was speaking to you about and things like that. So our lecturers are doing very well.
Okay, thank you so much, Akunfi Ameyaw, for being with us. We know that you have to go back to school, so we won't hold you up, and we wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, we also have Lydia on the line from Ashesi University. Lydia, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Okay, so take us through that last bit of schooling and how you pulled through. Did COVID-19 affect you? What were your experiences?
Okay, thank you very much, Michael. So the last bit of school initially was filled with some uncertainty because, we didn't know how we're going to continue the rest of the semester, but then we received an email communication from our school administration that, okay, the semester is going to be divided into two parts. So the next segment is going to be online, right? And so we had to, there were subsequent communications, that how to prepare and all that. So when we started the classes, basically they took place in two main forms. There's an actual live conversation, so it's a Zoom call, and then we also have pre-recorded classes, right? And it was quite a different experience and unexpected, because COVID really rudely interrupted how I envisioned my final semester in, Ashesi, right? So, yeah, it got overwhelming at a point, but there were a lot of support systems. And it was this time that we realized as students that we needed each other the most, because we didn't have that community that we would have had in school. And so we had to find ways to keep in touch. And also the teachers were very supportive in understanding, and they were able to also adapt fast. And like Amtu said, timelines too were flexed up so that we could, navigate the period not with much, tension or pressure. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty much.
Thank you. I have a student from KNUST in medical school now. I want to find out what that experience is like, considering that clinicals and all those things, you have to go and do ward rounds and so on. Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Hope you are too.
We are good, thank you. So what's the experience like? Can you share with us what it must take mentally, your ward rounds and so on, as a student, yourself and your colleagues?
So I'm actually in my penultimate year, that is 5th year of medical school.
Okay.
And in medical school, clinical practice is the main way to go. It is how you're able to learn the techniques of taking history from the patient, taking eliciting their signs and symptoms, eliciting signs from them as you do like a physical examination.
Yeah.
So without that, it's been quite difficult. My lecturer will tell you that most of medicine is learned at the bedside of the patient. 70% of medicine is learned at the bedside of the patient. So you can't sit in your house and read a textbook and think that you are learning medicine. You actually need to be at the bedside of the patient. So we need to find ways and means of catching up because learning at the bedside of the patient is crucial. It's crucial to effective practice in medicine.
Yeah, so just very quickly before you leave, what are teachers, what are your lecturers saying as far as getting that practical experience? Are you saying that you're not actually doing clinicals?
Oh, we actually will do clinicals, but then we have to put in the necessary infection prevention techniques just to protect ourselves as well. So at least social distance, if you are taking a history from the patient, you don't go as close as you would at first and all that.
But are you not doing any examination of patients?
Yes, we are.
So
I'm actually in my penultimate years, the final years who are in school
doing
right
that.
now.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Thank you for talking to us. We are
Breakfast Daily on City TV. We have a lot lined up for you. We're going to talk about drugs and drug addiction in Ghana. If you have any family member who's dealt with it, how did they overcome it? We want to hear those stories. And much later, we're going to learn about the best bra for your bra size. Believe it or not, a lot of women don't really know their bra size. So we're going to go through all of that.
Interesting.
But before all that, we have the news review.
Yes.
So don't go anywhere. My name is Jifa Ikea.
And I'm David Kwekusechi.
We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Extra data, extra minutes, and extra unlimited calls. Not just that, even our extra data doesn't expire. Simply dial *111# to bundle now.
Airtel Tigo. Life is simple. There is no promise we cannot keep. There is no commitment we cannot honor. There is no delivery we cannot guarantee. There is only one Bethel Logistics Company Limited, a licensed international freight forwarding and clearing agent, a trusted global brand with an extensive network for the movement of air freight. 07859. Email info@bethellogistics.com. Locate us in Accra at North Ridge, adjacent Accra Girls High School, or in Tema at Community 4, or in Takrady on the second floor of the GCB building. Website bethellogistics.com. Bethelog, experts in shipping logistics.
Welcome back. It's Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for staying. Our guests who are already seated here with us. Let's start off with the Daily Graphic. On the front page of the Daily Graphic, we have Civil Aviation request 100 million Ghana cedi bailout. That story is on page 3. Government to reconstruct demolished properties of Nigerian High Commission. That story is also on page 3 of the Daily Graphic. We'll now go on to the Ghanaian Times. 2 ministers admitted at UGMC. ATU confirms COVID-19 case. That story is on page 11. Tourism Ministry launches $9 million support project. That story is on page 12. NDC's old voter ID card case against EC. Supreme Court stops Imani. Story is on page 3. And we're now going to look at the Chronicle. Imani Asepa thrown out. Court says they are not neutral. That story is on pages 2 and 3 of the Chronicle. Now, there's another story here that says NPP delegates return cash to losing candidates. It's an interesting one there. We'll go on to the New Crusading Guide. Supreme Court throws out Imani over new voters register. Story on pages 3 and 10. Purchase Woyome's properties. Supreme Court orders government. We'll take a look at our final newspaper and then we'll make our way to some online stories. I'm talking about the Business Finder. $9 million grant for 1,000 SMEs in the tourism hospitality sector. That story is on page 2. EcoBank Africa CDC holds digital public forum on COVID-19. That story is on page 2 of the Business Finder. We'll now take a look at some online stories, starting with citynewsroom.com by Earth Tremor. That happened last night. Voter registration, EC ready to comply with COVID-19 protocols. That's coming from Honorable Okoboy. He was on Point of View last night. We're taking a look at that story later. 6 taken hostage after attack on Ghanaian fishing vessel. Really sad one there. Voter registration exercise may increase COVID-19 deaths. Health professionals warn EC. New rule on consolidated case today. We'll now take a look at some business news from citybusinessnews.com. City Business Festival, be committed to partnerships to attract more foreign direct investments. Yofi grant to businesses. And of course, Yofi is the CEO of GIPC. Banking sector cleanup. We are partnering with state agencies on prosecutions. BOG governor. Agbobuloshi and Mala markets. Traders lament impact of heavy rains on patronage. Help us obtain our full severance package. Suspended Schlumberger workers to Energy Minister. Utilize $9 million grant for SMEs in tourism efficiently to attract more support. Osafo Mafo. We'll now take a look at some more local news from citynewsroom.com. You can get all of your business news from citybusinessnews.com. And of course, those are some stories on bbcnews.com. Now, throughout the news review, we want to hear from you. If you're on social media or on Facebook, you can comment down below. If you're on other social media platforms, the hashtag is Breakfast Daily. And if you want to reach us directly, our WhatsApp line is 832. If you're outside Ghana, I have who is youth organizer of the NDC. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, you were not expecting me to introduce you first.
Yeah, because I thought that the honorable member of parliament is, they are the party in power, so you always introduce them.
All right, then let me do that. We also have the MP for Second D, Honorable Andrew Mensah with us. Good morning.
Morning. I don't know why Edem wants to be mischievous this morning.
Why?
Because I mean, introducing your panelists ought not follow any party regarding who is in power or even who is senior to anybody. We are here representing both political divides, and I guess that is only appropriate that you introduce whoever you feel like to do at any time.
Did you feel the shake last night?
Well, fortunately, I didn't.
Oh, you're fast asleep as well?
No, I wasn't. But I guess that my area I haven't heard so far when I was affected. I live in the Labadi area.
Okay, so you were saved from
but I've experienced a tremor before.
Really? When?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. I think I was in Legon at the time. We had come to visit a friend of mine in Usu, Francis Bas Moses. We were in his house. All of a sudden, I believe this was in 1995 or 96. Yeah.
Now you're revealing your age, but it's okay.
I'm 47.
Wow, you're blessed.
Yes.
Belated happy
I turned
birthday.
47 last month.
Yeah.
People had to run helter-skelter out of the house to find out what was happening, because you never know what the outcome really could be. So I can feel for the people who had this terrible experience last night, you know, and my commiserations. Thankfully, I haven't heard of any incident, if you like, as a result of the tremors. And we can only hope and pray that we don't get the situation that we see on our TV screens in Japan and other places where earthquake, can cause a lot of havoc to communities and livelihoods.
Definitely. So we'll take a look at that. That's our first story. I'm reading from citynewsroom.com, and it says here, parts of Ghana shaken by earth tremor. The story is by Godwin Alote, and I'm going to read it briefly. Parts of Ghana have been hit by an earth tremor. This occurred a few minutes to 11 p.m. Wednesday, which was yesterday, June 24th, 2020. CityNewsroom.com understands that the tremor was recorded in parts of the Greater Accra, Central and Eastern regions. Some of the affected areas include Dansoman, La Paz, Achimota, Tesano, Santa Maria, Bawe, Weja, Madina, Kwabenya, Sawem, Koforidua, Swedro, among others. So a few was experiencing the earth tremor at 10:50 p.m. So many people came on social media to share what they experienced. Now, Ghana recorded similar tremors in 2019 and 2018 as well, and that happened in Accra. We've heard reports of it happening in the U.S. as well. And let me read this one quickly. Earthquakes in Ghana. Records indicate that 1,615, well, in 1615, earthquakes occurred in Ghana with magnitude greater than 6.0 on the Richter scale. There are records that an earthquake in 1636 in Ghana caused havoc in many parts of Axim. Another one also recorded in Accra in 1862. The Director General of Ghana Standards Authority, Professor Alex Diodu, in an article published in the November 16, 2013 edition of the Spectator newspaper titled, "Can Ghana Sustain Health After a Major Natural Disaster?" stated that in 1906, an earthquake destroyed several buildings in Ho. Ghana was in June 1938. The earthquake destroyed most of Jamestown, killing nearly 150 people. So, Honorable, let me start with you on this last night. But we have reports of the ones that happened last year was like 3.0. Last night was 4.0, and we know that 6.0 is actually the one that's really deadly as a nation. How do we prepare for these things?
Well, good morning. Good morning to Adam and to our cherished viewers. I didn't know that we had such a horrendous history with earthquakes. I know that Accra, particularly the Weja enclave, has been said to be an earthquake-prone zone. I didn't know that it was widespread and that, could go all the way to Axim on the west and as far as Ho on the east. So clearly, regardless of the time span between the incidents that clearly have befallen us in the past, the question that you asked regarding our preparedness for natural disasters ought to be taken, on board fully. Unfortunately, our resources envelope doesn't allow us the latitude to set aside huge sums of money to meet exigencies such as this. However, I guess that the contingency fund that when we were saddled with COVID, government had to fall on in itself should provide some relief. But then again, clearly, as a developing country, our infrastructure base we use in construction clearly puts us at risk. And so I guess that's important that we take into consideration the potential of us suffering some major, touch wood, some major disaster that would require us to deploy, dig deep and ensure that our people are protected. Unfortunately, in our parts of the world, even rainfalls and flooding we can't deal with. We all recall the very recent, wasn't the 9th June incident that befell us only a few years ago. Many people lost their lives. Very recently, we've seen the flooding that has occasioned following the rains, and we don't have the infrastructure to deal with this, and so it puts us all at some risk if any eventuality of a 6.0 above magnitude hit us. Supervisors, agencies who are responsible for ensuring that some safety nets are provided would up their game, and as our resources envelope grows, as Ghana increases its GDP and
but
government
where would
revenue.
we even start from? Because when it comes to issues
it's
of floods,
difficult.
have built in places they shouldn't build.
Yeah.
They don't want to move.
It's difficult.
Look at the Wager area. If you tell people to move, they are not going to move because
I recall so even beyond the buffer should have been there to ensure that water that is spilled doesn't affect human beings. But people have built all over the place, with reckless abandon, if you ask me. And of course, and we, the politicians ourselves, who are supposed to set proper example, I don't know whether we influence society or we are as a result of what the society itself projects. Because let any administration as a people, and for me, some of these things ought not be tolerated at all. And so it's important that we segregate the kinds of issues that we play politics with. And those that we all agree, come to a consensus that, look, these things ought not be tolerated. And that if we have to clamp down on people who build in areas that obviously, when they suffer some mishap, the same government and public resources would have to be called upon to save those people from the situation that are in. Of course, it's a COVID-19 situation.
Yeah.
And so it's important that we I'm sure there's several other subject matters under the sun that we can play politics with. But we ought to be able to rally around together to deal with some of these issues that has an impact on all of us, that necessarily will not affect anybody's political fortunes. Okay. Unless, of course, is what is guiding us. So, thankfully, nobody suffered any injury. I don't know whether some properties were even damaged. Yeah. But it's a wake up call for all of us. Regulators who ought to ensure that clearly places that ought not see structures, we abide fully by the tenets of the law to ensure that people do not build in those places.
Thank you very much. We have some videos of...
I'm Lester, so I was actually sitting on the floor and I heard the tremor, but I realized a friend sitting close to me was just trying to run away, and I asked him, and he said he felt some vibration where he was sitting. But I heard the sound at the top, but I didn't actually feel it on the ground.
Your full name, Lester?
Butri.
Lester Butri.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I was right here taking my drink, and then all of a sudden I felt some kind of vibration and then a noise from the roof up there. Yeah, so I asked my guy that what's happening, and he said, oh, he just felt a little vibration, but he doesn't know what it is. And I said, oh. Yeah, and I told him that that is an earth tremor, and he said, wow. Yeah, so that was what happened.
And are you scared going back to sleep if you maybe might
No. I'm not scared because I've experienced it before, years back. So
later, I felt it was a tremor because of the noise I heard from the roof.
It was filed by the people at Wager, and as they are speaking, it seems like a lot of us don't even know what it is, how to handle it. Adam.
Yes, Jafar, good morning to you, to the Honorable MP for Sekondi. He's my very good friend as well, and to all our viewers across the world. Last night at about 10:30 p.m., I was reading and I felt the tremor. And so immediately I got onto social media to ask if I was the only one or it was peculiar to my area. But I realized many other people were tweeting and posting on Facebook about their own experience and all of that. Of us, unrest with issues concerning earthquake, earth tremor. In fact, there was actually a huge debate over whether what happened qualified to be an earthquake or the magnitude of 4.0. It's supposed to be an earth tremor and all of that. But for those of us who follow international news a lot, this started, it's a worldwide thing. It started like last night, it moved. So Ghana, we had our share yesterday. I recall that in 2019, when it happened, I think it happened twice in 2019, I got some education from geologists and other experts who actually said that Ghana as a country, especially our southeast side or southern side of Ghana, we are prone to earthquakes. But looking at the reaction of Ghanaians last night to what happened, and the fact that many of us, even people who are very, very educated, lacked basic information about this thing, it begs the question about our preparedness for such a disaster or such natural occurrences. We're fortunate that 4.0 as a magnitude, but if you study Ghana's history with earthquakes or earth tremors, right from 1615, we are told Ghana first experienced an earthquake. We have had situations where properties have been lost, lives have been lost, and all of that. But many people, even on this side, do not know that even when you are building in areas that are supposed to be earthquake prone, there are some building protocols that you must follow. So the next question we should be asking ourselves is, what is the coordination between city authorities and the various other agencies, such that if Lands Commission is granting me a license or a certificate to a land, we are ensuring that in that certification or in the process of granting me the certification, I get the needed education to know that this land that I am getting or this space that I intend to build my house is prone to flooding, is that we must take up strongly, because our panic reaction yesterday clearly shows that this is a country that is not prepared for any of such natural disasters. I always say that natural disasters, disease, and all of these things do not know party colors. And so these are issues we should approach from a very nationalistic point of view, because yesterday the earth tremor did not wait to ask whose building is this, is that person NDC, MPP, CPP, APC, and all of that. And it started receiving safe and all of that. You know, these things, it shows that as a country, we need more education on some of this. We shouldn't wait for it to happen the morning after all the media reviews, all the media houses are talking about it. After that, we move on. No serious education is undertaken for people to really be abreast. But after we finish discussing it in the media, then we'll leave it at that. What is the Ghana Meteorological Service doing? What are the other agencies or departments that have some connection or related activities with things like this doing about this? So I think that we need to encourage much more education so that we know that those of us who are living in earthquake-prone areas, even when you want to build, this is how you should approach it and all of that. I hope that this should be a wake-up headness for these things. Honorable Mensah said something.
Please wrap up for us.
He said something about how political parties or your opposition will react and all that. It is true. And I must say that the NPP, for example, in 20 Tabo, June 3rd flooding and fire disaster and all that. But we also how they played politics with it. At a point, everybody wanted the sitting president to take responsibility, as if President Mahama at the time intentionally brought flood and decided to, what happened? We don't want to even remind people of their wound and all that. So the NPP government, the NPP as a party, President Akufo-Addo as an individual, for example, is guilty of some of these things as well. But we need to move on. We must stop politicizing issues that affect the basic life, of our people. This is an earthquake. By now, NADMO should be out and be telling us that due to what happened, due to the panic reaction, this is our plan for education. This is what we intend to do. This is Ghana's preparedness towards such tremors in the future and all of that. We need to be hearing some of these things from authority. It is time for us to pull the brakes on politicizing some of these issues. But at the same time, we ought to be demanding accountability from those in charge.
Thank
you
very
very much. With
much.
our taxpayers' money, and they ought to be giving us accountability.
Thank you very much. We'll hear from Honorable Mesa right after the very watching us from. We want to hear from you. Use the hashtag Breakfast Daily or the WhatsApp line 05505858. We'll be right back.
Online, get free swipes and enjoy greater security with a card that turns banking on its head. That's Africanacity. That's ABSA.
On City TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. Again, it's an interactive show. So wherever you're watching us from, we want to hear from you. Use the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550585832 to contribute to the conversation. I still have with me MP for 2nd D, Andrew Mesa, as well as Edem Agbana, who is the Deputy National Youth Organizer of the NDC. And before the break, we were discussing the earth tremor that happened around 11 p.m. yesterday. We'll hear Honorable's concluding remarks and then move on to the next topic.
And then wants to invite me into. Because you see, I'm an ardent believer in law enforcement and rule of law. Because without that, we're going nowhere. A friend of mine who is a geodetic engineer has just sent me an SMS suggesting that seismic surveys should be part of geotechnical site investigations to determine site-specific peak ground acceleration values to enable structural designers factor these into. Permit regime going to do when we lack the law? What is it going to do? So that's where we ought to start. But of course, our land tenure system, land ownership in this country in itself is problematic. You have a situation where planning schemes are actually put in place before lands are actually disposed of. But here, every chief who owns land is demarcating and selling without regard to whatever planning schemes that exist. Can be done. But if we want to really build a civilized society that is grounded on law, then some of these enforcement mechanisms ought to be, strictly, put in place. And of course, you see,
please wrap up first.
The politics we can do, but we ought to know the extent and limit to which we would want to do that.
It says voter registration exercise may increase COVID-19 deaths. It's coming from health professionals, and they are warning the EC. So some health professionals in the country have written an open letter to the Electoral Commission warning of more COVID-19 deaths should a mass voter registration exercise be held. The health professionals, comprising doctors, nurses, laboratory professionals, among others, insisted that the exercise has the potential of compromising the health of the Ghanaian population, hence must be halted. So I'm going to quote what they said. We have never expected our work as health professionals to be easy, but neither do we expect it to be suicidal. We wish to advise that caution is exercised in undertaking any activity that has the potential to accelerate the spread of COVID-19. We believe the impending mass registration exercise falls in this category and has the potential to compromise the health and well-being of the population, leading to unwanted pain, trauma, and possibly deaths, as the past few days have shown. So the workers who are in, there are 113 in number, further outline the reasons why the Electoral Management Body must reverse its decision to go ahead with the registration exercise in the build-up to the 2020 general elections. So they go on to, address several things. First one, learning from previous mass registration exercise in the country, we are worried that a mass voter registration inadvertently undermine the principle of social distancing and therefore facilitate the community spread of the disease. Second point, we must collectively work to ensure all lives in Ghana are firmly secured and protected. Third one, available records show that one of the worst affected cases of COVID-19, for instance, in the West African sub-region, Ghana is only second to Nigeria in terms of the absolute number of cumulative cases and mortality rates. So they go on and on. Point 4, as a frontline health worker, to safeguard the lives of Ghanaians by not going ahead, concerns that they've raised.
It's interesting. And I like words that they chose. May should be halted. Inadvertent exposure. Ghana being worst affected.
After Nigeria. So what it is really that they are saying? Because nobody, and as far as I'm concerned, I haven't heard the EC say that the voter registration doesn't pose any risk to potential persons who has no risk. And so they are right in saying that it may expose people to some contracting the COVID-19 disease. And so I would have thought that the next statement that they will make is to recommend the full enforcement of the protocols at the registration centers to ensure that people who do not go there or people who go there do not contract the disease. That look, yes, COVID-19 is with us. We have a mandate to conduct an election on December 7th. Because so far, I haven't heard all the arguments against registration suggest that we should not hold the elections. I haven't heard. What I hear people to be saying is that the faults, regardless, go ahead and use the election, use it for the election today. But these are health workers.
No, I don't have a problem. I respect the job that they do. No issue. I respect the job that they do. All these health workers, don't they have umbrella associations that ordinarily speak for them?
Well, they came together
you see, Jifa,
for this purpose, to raise their concerns.
Then it raises the question, because very recently, not too long ago, we had university lecturers, some, and it's interesting they used words like some. Because if the Ghana Medical Association is speaking, they will say some. It's all the members of the association through their executives who are speaking. Why couldn't they do that? So then he introduces the element of politics.
Is there anything wrong with
everybody? So because of that, your view ought to be the one that determines.
Not really, but it's their experience.
So the Ghana Medical Association hasn't got any experience.
You continue.
They've issued statements calling for lockdown. Government has responded. When government lifted the lockdown, consultations were held. Everybody across the world recognizes that, yes, now that we know the nature and character of the virus, life must go on. But we all take precautions. Okay. Some members whose names were put on there saying that, hey, I haven't authorized anybody.
Okay.
Question is this. This country is big, 16 regions. So they went around concerned medical officers who are opposed or who would admonish or advise or make supplications to the Electoral Commission not to carry out their constitutional mandate because of the existence of COVID-19. Then let's close shop as a country.
Okay.
If that's your suggestion. Because you see, Jifa, I care about people potentially contracting this virus. In fact, myself. Because we are all at risk. That's why when I was coming in and I was wearing my face shield, that you advised that I wear a mask, I obliged. Because the reason that you gave, that the shield exposes certain parts of my face and that I could be breathing some droplets, as opposed to getting a direct splash, which the shield will protect, made sense. Electoral Commission, it recognizes that there is a problem. But the election cannot wait.
But practically speaking, and they provided this example of someone going in to register. Initially, you go, you wash your hands. While you're in line, perhaps you cough, and then you use your hands to protect you from
But that's why you wear your mask until the point that you are being taken a photograph.
Then are you now going to go back to wash your hands? We saw what happened this weekend where people were provided Veronica buckets, people had on face masks, everything that they needed to protect themselves, they were provided. But the minute the winners were announced, they just threw caution to the wind.
Registration lead to announcement of winners.
But we know that the minute people congregate,
so let's not,
the possibility
have you been to a registration center before?
I have.
Do people congregate?
They are waiting to register.
People form a queue.
Yes.
To register.
So while you are in queue, you will talk.
But of course, that's why
you communicate with someone. And we have this habit of people moving their mask down when they are talking to each other. But anyway, so that's those are some of the
entirety of their statement. Yeah. See, the registration, and of course, the Supreme Court is going to make a determination today. I understand that the NDC themselves dropped one of their reliefs, challenging the capacity of the Electoral Commission to compile a register, and are now seeking to say that add the existing voters register. Some other group or individual has also asked some questions that the Supreme Court is likely to determine today. So I would be expecting people who are in positions of this nature, health professionals, to go out and urge the Electoral Commission to abide fully with the protocols so that people...
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable.
Because it's consistent.
Very much, Honorable. Adam.
Jifa, I want to first congratulate all the medical doctors and professionals who courageously wrote and signed that petition or open letter to the Electoral Commission. I've always believed that governance is too serious a business to be left to the politicians alone. Everybody, every citizen must have a voice. And that is why when President Akufo-Addo, in his inaugural speech, though the speech was heavily plagiarized,
let's get to the point.
The part of it that we are not spectators. We live in a country where critical issues are left to the politicians alone to speak about, especially in this regime, where if you're a professional, you're a technocrat, and you express a dissenting view against the position of government, you are either likely to be sanctioned, you are likely to be transferred to some other facilities and all of that. We have countless people courageous enough to take a position that I believe is in the interest of Ghana and the people of Ghana. If you read their letter, very emotional letter, because we're in this country and we're told that medical professionals or all the facilities have been given enough PPEs to be able to go about their work. They even have a full complement of the PPEs as compared to we the citizens. But how many cases of doctors, nurses are contracting the disease? Even they, the medical professionals who have deep insight or knowledge on medical issues, and they will be best abreast with the preventive measures. With all the PPEs that we have given to them, they are contracting the disease. So what is our fate? You and I, to 18 million people at risk. They, as medical professionals, could not sit and watch and look, because as we speak, even the Ministry of Health has come out to say that our facilities are being stretched. As we speak,
we're also providing more isolation centers and treatment centers to deal with that problem.
You are in the process of providing.
Yeah.
Even 1,000. And now we are talking about 18 million people.
But shouldn't these?
I'm getting to the point. Now you have our 18 million people expected to register for the voters' ID card. And we are saying that these doctors are saying, and their position actually is similar to what the NDC is saying. The doctors have said, challenging the legal mandate of the EC to compile a register. But they are giving a professional advice. That President Akufo-Addo told us that a single individual in a factory in Tema was able to infect about 500 people. So you have a situation where this registration, we all know how registration centers.
But that's why the EC is going to do all it can to provide the necessary materials.
You see the materials. Like I've told you, the doctors who are contracting it. In Ashanti region, as we speak, over 100 nurses have gotten COVID-19. Is it that they don't have PPEs?
Okay, so another doctor is speaking.
Is it that they don't have the materials?
Another doctor is speaking, so let me read his response and then I'll hear your thoughts on what he said. Is that okay? So last night, Dr. Koboy was on Point of View. So the Electoral Commission has demonstrated its readiness to ensure compliance with COVID-19 preventative protocols during the upcoming voter registration exercise. It goes on to talk about the procurement of thermometer guns, face shields, sanitizers, and liquid soaps, and how that is going to help reduce the risk of...
Minister of Health, his boss did not have access to all of these PPEs.
So if we're going by that notion that we can all catch the virus, even in our regular activities.
So that vindicates the position of this medical professionals.
So shouldn't they, as Honorable is saying, come out with perhaps alternatives to ensure that we don't spread the virus?
We are saying that this is a virus that moves when you move.
Yes, as the education minister said.
Except when it is, and he himself,
he's testing.
He's testing and all. But this is a case where and how people gather.
But we are going to ensure social distancing.
Let me tell you, we were in this country
things.
Just last week. The NPP and the Electoral Commission gave us or adhere to the social distancing and all the other WHO protocols. Have you seen the videos yourself?
But that was an election.
No, that is an election. I mean, how different is an election from a registration?
Is there a winner when you're registering?
I'm saying that. No, it's not about even before the winners were declared.
But most people were complying before the winners were declared. You have to admit that. Do you admit that most people were complying before the winners were announced?
You see, when we talk about compliance, it is not just a matter of using thermometer guns and having... The question is that beyond that point, beyond the registration point, you are actually providing it is a virus that you do not have to create an avenue for people to actually get.
We're going back to church, we're going back to school, we are back.
Million lives at risk, and expect that medical doctors who are on the field, they are suffering, they are seeing the effect of it, they are seeing their colleagues who are being infected daily. As we speak, Jifa, on daily basis, Ghana is recording on the average 200 new cases. Our death toll is rising. And so people have genuine reasons why they should have fears that what is the essence of this whole registration when you already even have a register that you used to elect Akufo-Addo in 2016, a register that you used to create new regions, a register that elected over 6,000 assemblymen, a register that you unit committee members and all of that.
The number of people who have died in this country, that's relatively low compared to other countries, and we are recording high rates because we are testing more than other countries on the continent, right? As far as positive cases are concerned. The majority of our patients are asymptomatic.
I've heard this argument about let's celebrate Ghana because we are testing more.
It's the fact, though.
No. You see, it is not as simple. We are being simplistic when we reduce the argument to we are testing more. Let me ask you, if you perform or you conduct 1 million tests, 1 million tests, and you find out that only 1,000 people have it, and somebody conducts 10 million, and it's finding out that 500 people have it. It's not about it. It's about the disease being there.
So that Honorable will respond.
It's like saying that when you throw a bigger net. When you throw a bigger net into it means that the fish is there. It means that the disease is with us.
Okay.
So that should even encourage us that we should continue testing more.
Okay.
The disease is with us. So as we speak, we are hearing that cabinet meetings have been suspended. Cabinet meetings has less than 100 people. So you suspend cabinet meetings, and yet you want 18 million Ghanaians to queue up and register within a period of 40 days.
Thank you very much.
We need to be serious with the lives of the people that we govern.
This unsubstantiated allegations, mere speculations, ought to stop. Let him prove to us that cabinet meetings have been suspended.
But
prove it. You cannot sit under any circumstances established. In any event, you see, as they condemn the MPP for holding primaries where people were jubilating, Mr. Mahama was in South Dai or North Dai, breaching all known protocols that have been established.
Not true.
You haven't seen the videos?
Oh, the videos are there. Every single person in that video was in mask.
Were people observing social distancing protocols there?
Yes, they were. I mean, you can play it.
You can kill yourself.
We're still talking about the medical doctors and the concerns they've raised.
You see, nobody is putting 18 million people together. Just that's not more than 600 people. So that talk that how do you put 18 million people together for a registration? It's false.
He didn't say together.
But that's what he's saying. But in any event, the registration is being organized over 40 days.
Well, yeah.
Clearly reducing, yes, of course, in clusters.
In phases as well.
In clusters, yes, clusters of several police stations. Because and that's been the process of
Please allow him make his point.
That's been the process of registering voters in Ghana since 1992. Because you can't expect the Electoral Commission to go and buy capturing devices for 30,000 police stations and deploy them all at one time. So they buy a certain number and move them from location to location to make sure that everybody have been telling the Ghanaian people not to register. So what's your issue?
We never said so.
Your party chairman is saying that you guys won't participate in your registration. So what's your issue?
Where did he say that?
Why? Adam, I know you to be more decent than this one.
Say that.
I know you.
Never said that.
I know you to be more decent.
No, I mean,
but the concerns people are raising is that because we're dealing with a pandemic, this is not normal times.
Yes.
Shouldn't we stop and make do with what we have to save lives?
If it won't serve the purpose for which it is in place.
Because at the end of the day, we are all going to burden these same healthcare workers if we end up getting sick, Honorable. But the same people will go to take care of us if something happens to all of us.
That's precisely the reason why the protocols that have been put in place ought to be respected.
Have we done enough to ensure that they don't have a pandemic?
Now you can see that the wearing of moving them danced because of the legislation that His Excellency the President has passed. You see, for me, in all of this, the NDC is not advocating for a postponement of the general election. Why? That is the only day that will ask the so-called 18 million people to come on the street in one day to go and vote, wait for the vote to be counted, and jubilate when a winner is declared. That day, and preparatory things that we have to do now, whatever it is that is in the 2012 register that they think ought to be used at all costs.
But you won in 2016.
No, I don't have a problem. But you see, I'm not the elections management body. And I haven't heard government saying that by all means people should go and register. We have institutions in this country. The Electoral Commission, which has the mandate, our election team board. The one that I have today, when we play this game, I cannot guarantee the outcome of it. You say, oh, damn it. Put that ball down and let's play. When you lose, will you accept the outcome? Will you? And believe you me, we know them. These are the same people who today are crying that you see this, that. they will not, under any circumstances, accept the result. When we go into the election, whoever comes out victorious, we will now celebrate
10 seconds.
And then proceed.
We've run out of time.
I mean, I think if there is anybody who should be talking about a neutral playing field, we should be speaking about it.
Okay.
We have a register currently that the NDC won elections with in 2012. The NPP won elections with it in 2016. And you want to compile a new register. Your majority leader can win elections with a new register that you are compiling.
Is the Deputy National Youth Organizer of the NDC. Thank you both very much for being with us.
There will be no new register.
Thank you. We're going to learn about drug addiction right after these messages. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Second or preferred choice. Locate Diamond Cement nationwide with factories in Aflao, Takrady and Bupe. Diamond Cement, as hard as a diamond.
Former President John Agyekum Kufuor is on footprints this weekend.
Oxford, which college? I said, Oxford is Oxford, any of the colleges. At that time, Oxford had 35 male colleges and 5 for ladies. It wasn't co-educational. And I said, well, I want to quote him. I am University College. I studied at the University College, Oxford. My moral tutor there at University College is now the rector, that's the head of college of Exeter College, Oxford. So immediately I shot back and said, so that man is still alive? So yes, he said, if the parliament was very harsh. And so there was an occasion, Gama, who could have been perhaps the son of Buzia, stood up. And with Buzia, the prime minister, that time government wasn't presidential, it wasn't the executive president, it was parliamentary system. And Gama stood up because they are virtually shouting down at Buzia. You, tribal prime minister of a tribal government, it was terrible. And if you knew Buzia, Buzia sat quiet. So when Agama finished, and Victor Osu being the next senior, after prime minister, next senior man, minister, after the prime minister himself, and Victor Sharp also, as a practicing lawyer, adversarial practitioner, just also shot up, tore into Agama. How dare you call the prime minister tribal? Who is more inward looking than you people? And then that's how it degenerated into.
Join your host Samuel Atamensa as he sits with former President John Agyekum Kufuor as he tells his story. Footprint show this Saturday at 9 a.m. and Sunday at 4 p.m.
Logistics Company Limited, experts in shipping logistics.
It's your boy, yeah. If anybody there, my mind, now you. Many girls that come by still, now you. Why you the act so shy, now you. Won't make you be mine. my girl, I gotta give you all my word. Buy you diamonds and pearls, oh, diamonds and pearls. I wanna be the one you call on, and I want you to have my baby. I wanna be the pet you fall on. So would you wanna have my baby? You, so baby, be you I could follow. If you I could call my own. If you I could follow, hey, or the somebody, hey. Baby, don't hurry, oh. I wanna be the one you call on, and I want you to have my baby. Wanna be the bet you fall on. Would you wanna have my baby? Oh, now you, now you, now you, oh, oh, now you, now you, now you, oh, oh, now you, now you, now you, oh, oh, now you, now you, now you,
Let's go.
Oh, baby, money now, hey. Oh, baby, money now, hey. Oh, baby, money now. Oh, to send me your love, send money now, hey. Oh, baby, money now, send me your love, hey. Oh, to send it, mommy, your love. If you really want my heart keeps calling, hey, hey. Oh, to send it, mommy, your love, hey. So lonely at night, it'll still be you, always on her. I could put a ring on you, waiting on you to send me your love. Oh, be money now, hey. Oh, be money now, hey. Oh, be money now.
All right, welcome back. And that was Senna Hooks, beautiful music there. Now, we want to talk this morning about drugs and drug abuse. So, of course, tomorrow is International Illicit Drugs Day, and we want to look at the whole subject of you know, that. It's the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, okay, better known or also known as the World Drugs Day. All right, so we're going to have a conversation this morning about that. And I've been joined in studio by Mr. Francis Opoku Amwa, and he is the head of communication at the Drug Control Board. Now, Commission, yeah. So help us to understand. First of all, I think that there's a lot of confusion as far as that people have, as in cocaine, heroin, those are drugs.
Okay.
Weed, those are drugs.
Okay.
But what is a drug?
Okay, thank you so much. And we're grateful for the opportunity to be here and to talk about this subject. I think when we talk about drug, generally the United Nations has those shadows. They classify certain drugs as legal drugs and others as hard, illegal, or banned substance.
Okay.
So when we talk about drug, what we're simply saying is that anything when you put into your body, it changes the way the body functions or the way the body acts. And therefore, when you're sick and you go to the hospital and you tell the doctor that it's going to act on where there's a problem. So it's going to change what the problem was to a different thing. But when we talk about drugs, that is a legal way.
Yes.
So the doctor will give you, say, paracetamol and say that you take 2 in the morning, afternoon, and the evening, before or after meals.
Yeah.
So once you're doing that, then definitely you're going according to the prescription of the doctor.
Yeah.
But when you talk in our sense, when we talk about drugs, we're talking about hard drugs, we're talking about banned substances, we're talking about illegal drugs.
Okay.
And therefore, when we say drugs in our sense, then we mean those drugs that when you put in, it changes, it acts on your psyche, it changes the way you think, the way you move, and the way you act. And therefore, per the UN schedules, we have cocaine, we have heroin, and we also have weed. And we also have other synthetic drugs, like we know the methamphetamines and cat and all those ones. They all fall under the illegal drugs. So when we talk about drugs, those are those are drugs, and also those drugs sometimes affect you depending on which one you take. Yeah.
Where would you clarify something like tramadol? Where would you classify it? Considering the fact that it's also used medicinally to help.
Yeah, like I said initially, like the UN schedules is not part of, as we've been told by doctors. You take it and you're good. But what we've realized is that young people think that when they take those, especially the tramadol we're talking about, they get certain feeling that sometimes they could get in weed. That, oh, tramadol is legal, so instead of me going to do an illegal thing, then let me resort to tramadol, which is legal one, and I'll be fine. But what we've realized is that even that, which falls under the purview of the Food and Drugs Authority, even that, we're saying that is a prescriptive drug, and therefore the doctor would have to tell the Food and Drugs Authority is saying, and they are fighting it, that people, whether it's a pharmacy shop or it's a chemical shop, if you're selling more than the 100 grams, then they'll have a problem with you. And therefore we say that even though tramadol is a legal drug, it's pain relief or pain alleviation, we say that people who normally use it are likely to turn on to use other ban or other harder stuff. So what we do is that when we have the opportunity to go out to educate, we just tell people that don't start it at all, because once you start doing it, it's likely that you're going to graduate or migrate from doing.
No, so before we get into the hard drug conversation, the implications of the new law, you know, that has eased up for some medicinal and industrial use and so on, let's talk about the issue of counseling and the facilities that are available within our space in Ghana, as far as the substance abuse is concerned. Because if you're looking at, just as you said, I mean, if you're looking at something like tramadol, which is perfectly legal, it's off the counter, it's prescriptive, I can buy it, but then now I'm in the space where I feel that I'm getting a certain kick or a certain high from using it. So what do we have in our space in terms of counseling and
that we do as part of our jobs? One of the key thing is rehabilitation, counseling, rehabilitation, and social reintegration. It's part of the things that we do. So when you come to our office, and indeed all the 10 regions, we have 16, but we are in 10. All the 10 that we are in have a counselor. What they do is that on regular basis, on daily basis, they are available, they are experts to offer, so that people who now say that, I'm in a bad position, I don't want to do the drug again, I now recognize it, I want to give up. When they come, we are able to assess them and refer them to these appropriate facilities that are available. When you talk about the facilities that are available, we have the Kolebu Addictive Unit, which is there. We're all available. That once you come to our place, we're able to assess you and determine which one will be better for you. When you talk about our new bill, the Narcotics Control Commission Bill, 2020 Act 1019, it's talking about a situation where the Commission will be able to build rehabilitation centers where we'll be able to rehabilitate people disorders so that they will become relevant to society again. That is where the reintegration aspect comes in, because once we're able to get off those drugs and you recover, then we'll say that, yes, what were you doing? What do you want to do? I want to go into this trade, I want to learn that, I want to learn that. Then we put you back into those trade, then you become responsible of your family and the nation as a whole.
Now, let's segue from there into the conversation about hard drugs. I'm interested in the part of the bill that talks about and industrial purposes. it seems almost as though we are sort of slowly trying to feel our way as far as the issue of cannabis, marijuana is concerned. A lot of countries, not a lot of countries, but some countries have completely lifted restrictions on it. Ghana seems to be sort of slowly easing our way to maybe eventually that place as well. What does it actually mean when you say medicinal and industrial purposes?
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I think that Friday, 20th March, when Parliament passed the bill, there was a lot of noise. There was a lot of talk that the presidency or the president has giving us the opportunity to use, smoke, and do everything kind of the law.
Okay.
The law, when you 40, it talks about the fact that if you cultivate, if you plant, if you grow, if you trade in, if you use cannabis, it's illegal.
Okay.
It's illegal. It's there in the law. It's illegal. So when you come to the 43, that is where it talks about special provision relating to cannabis cultivation.
Yeah.
And there, what the law is trying to say is this, that even though, in spite of the fact that 37, 38, 39 talks about it as being a law dispensation where the minister, in consultation with a commission, may grant, I think the word there is may, may grant a license to somebody to cultivate cannabis which has 0.3 THC content. Those are there. Those are there in the law. 0.3 THC content. When you read the 43, the fact that for avoidance of doubt, when we talk about cannabis, we are not referring to the recreational one, that when you go high, when you take, it takes you to some place because the THC content in that one is far, far, far more than the 0.3.
Okay.
So it states it there clearly that is not for the recreational one. But this one that we're talking about, the hemp, that the industrial hemp or for medicinal purposes, it should contain not more than 0.3. And that one, what we're looking to get is the fiber in it. Once we're able to get the fiber, we'll be able to use the fiber to do other industrial things. We know that in some countries, as some people are saying, that you can use it to do even belts or shirts or other things. We know that you can get the jute sack in the fiber. So when the law says that you have that permission, even that permission is not an open signature to cultivate that one. And even that one, when you're cultivating, we're saying that it should be 0.3. It's far from what people were thinking and saying that now you can smoke, because if you smoke, it's illegal. If you trade in, you're committing an offense which the law can catch up with you and deal with you.
Let me ask you, recreational drugs in a country like Holland, for example, marijuana can be used recreationally. There are other places in the world it can. What are we so afraid of?
I think I don't think that we've gotten to the point where we have all these facilities that you mentioned. The rehab centers, those facilities that when people have a problem, they can easily run to those places and get professional help. I don't think we're there yet. And we also know that those recreational ingredients in the weed, and therefore is the one that acts on our minds,
on our brains,
on our brains and our minds and our psyche. So once we begin to allow people to freely use it, the consequences we might not be able to control. And therefore it is very, very important that as a nation we tread cautiously, and as a nation, once we get there and all of us think and know that we are at a point where We can tell people that if you want to do it for recreational purposes, you can go ahead. We have joints where we sell it openly. You can go and do it. When we get there, then we know, because we know that persons and people like Dr. Akwasi Osei has constantly and continuously talk about the fact that if we do that, then what we're going to experience is that we're going to have a lot of people who might have challenges with their brains and with their minds.
Yeah. If you're watching and you have any questions for Mr. Francis Opoku-Amoah, kindly use the hashtag Breakfast Daily or send us WhatsApp messages on 0550585832 to let us know the questions that you have. We can put it to him right here. But just before you leave us also, let's talk about the issue of, or the subject of World Drug Day. You know, what are you doing? Are we doing anything to commemorate the day? And so on and so forth. Then, if you can also help us to understand what.
Yeah, that's good. I think World Drug Day is an international day on 26 June, and it's celebrated everywhere in the world. Member states of the United Nations celebrate the day, and it gives us the opportunity to assess how we're doing as a nation regarding, somebody will say, the fight. It gives us also the opportunity to tell people that this is where we are, this is the support we need from you as citizens, so that together we'll be able to fight it. So it's a day that we assess ourselves, it's the day that we say that, and what can we do to make sure that the incidence of drug and drug abuse is minimal. So what we are doing this year is that across all over the country, our offices, through the social media and the traditional media, are engaging the people. They're disseminating information that is helpful, appropriate information that is helpful to people. And that is what we're going to do, and that is what we're doing in Accra. Tomorrow being the day, we're going to also, as the thing that we normally do, we destroy drugs. That is, there's a drug destruction that we do, which we're going to do tomorrow.
Where do you get these drugs from?
They are the seized drugs, those ones that we seize. And before we do that, a court would have to give us the certificate of destruction, which we have secured. So tomorrow we're going to do that. The significance of that is that if you invest in that area, if you cultivate it, we arrest you, you have better knowledge. You'll be able to help people professionally. You'll be able to. We're telling parents who have challenges is open. Anybody who's or go into any of our regional offices and talk to them. There are avenues who are trained, who are available to give help, so that together we'll be able to restore. Together we'll be able to rehabilitate that young man who needs help. So our doors are open. Anybody who has a genuine cause and would want to come to our office is open, and we can always receive them and help them.
Do you have any relationship with schools? I mean, in terms of like sick bays, counselors who are in schools and so on. Do you have any?
Yeah, we do. We work closely with a lot of government institutions. When you come to the security ones, we have interagency for them. We also have an interagency for the non-security one, which is the education. We work closely with Ghana Education Service. We also do with Food and Drugs Authority. We also work closely with faith-based institutions. We work across every and any identifiable body that we know that, because one of the things that we know is that the drugs thing is a shared responsibility, and the commission alone cannot do it, and therefore we require that all these agencies, all these identifiable bodies will come together to schools. We'll go to.
Mr. Francis Opoku-Amoah is the head of communications and media relations at the Narcotics Control Commission. We're going to come back with some more interesting conversations, but whilst we're on a break, take a look at the entertainment highlights.
Welcome to Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Atukwamina. Award-winning reggae dancehall artist Samini has called for peace between his prodigy Stonebwoy and Kelvin Boy. Stonebwoy and Kelvin Boy have not been in good terms since last year when they parted ways. 2 days ago, there were reports that an alleged former bodyguard of Stonebwoy attacked Kelvin Boy at an event in Ashanti. Stonebwoy's management has, however, denied their involvement in the scuffle. Reacting to the issue on his Instagram page, Samini, who mentored Stonebwoy, called for peace within the two camps. He asked together one last time and have a sit down away from social. The National Executive Council of the Musicians Union of Ghana has called off the union's election to elect new national executive officers scheduled for Wednesday, June 24. A statement from Musica signed by the acting president, Bessa Simon, and the general secretary, Deborah Freeman, enumerated a number of reasons for the decision. It mentioned that the current COVID-19 pandemic, which has led to social gathering restrictions, as one of the reasons for the postponement. The statement also indicated that with the lapse in the original date of June 26, 2019 for the election, cards of some members eligible to vote have expired, making them ineligible, while others who were ineligible would now be eligible to vote. There was therefore the against and functionaries in relation to the election. Musica would like to reassure all its members and well-wishers that the leadership's decision to call off the election is in the best interest of the union and a new date will be announced in due course, the statement said. South African rapper Cassper Nyovest has revealed that he has chosen the name of his new album. For the album cover, he used the ultrasound photo of the fetus. I'm going to be a father any minute now, so I decided to name my album Any Minute Now. The album cover is an actual scan of my son in his beautiful mother's womb. Excited about this album, but I'm more excited about being a dad to a beautiful baby boy. #AMN drops September 11th, he tweeted. And that's all for entertainment highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Ato Kwame.
Call your girlfriend, call your mother, call your sisters. A lot of women actually don't know. Even me, I think I was in uni before I realized that I actually needed to know what bra would work for my breast shape. And of course, we have the best woman to talk about this, Mami Esi Akwa-Taylor, who's the CEO of Ahab Brands, to walk us through it all. If you have any questions for her, use the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana and you still have questions, just use the country code +233. Good morning, Mami Esi.
Good morning, Jifra.
How are you? I know, Corona. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Pleasure to be here.
Now, bra size, bra shapes, how important is it?
All right, so traditionally we all know that we have to know our band sizes. We have to know our, yes, M cup.
Some of us think like D is the highest. People actually have M's?
There are M's.
Wow.
Yes, there are M cups. So you can imagine the difference between A to an M. Yes, so, but it goes way beyond that.
Okay.
It's very important that you know the shape of your breast. There are so many shapes. We have breasts that are very long.
Okay, so we're looking at some right there.
Yes, we have breasts that are long.
Okay.
We have those that are wide. We have breasts that the placement is totally different.
Okay.
Those that have a lot of density and those that are very close together, natural great cleavage. And then we have those asymmetrical ones that are long, one is long, one is short.
How do you measure? Because like I'm looking here,
yes,
I don't even know where I belong,
yes,
to be honest.
So we are going to go through
each
and every one of them. So the first one we are looking at is the east and west breast.
Okay.
The east and west, people call it the divorced breast. You call it the divorced breast because, you know, the breast gravitates towards the outside of your torso. Okay, so the nipples sits way on the side and side. That's why they are divorced. Okay, and then there is quite some space in between. Now, with this kind of breast, when you come to AHA, I will recommend to you a t-shirt bra. A t-shirt bra is that bra that has a motto. Nobody out there can imagine that your nipples are gravitating towards the opposite side. Yes. So that is one type of East and West.
So, Mami, before we even go to shops like AHA, we should at least know the kind of breast we have.
The shape of breast that you have is very, very important. You just don't pick a bra. You just don't pick a bra. If you pick the right bra for your shape, you realize that it will give you a very beautiful silhouette. And sometimes some people look very big, but it's just because their top is not very well lifted. If they lift their tops very well, their waistline would become visible and they would look much more leaner.
Wow.
You understand? So the next one, we are talking of the side by side. Side by side is a little bit different from the breast tissue that is gravitating towards the outside of the breast. Okay, so they have a lot of tissue that is almost on the hand. Do you understand? That's a side by side. And I see a lot of this with women who have done breast augmentation, and their doctors did not get it right. Okay, their doctors did not get it right. So there will be a very big space at the center of the breast, and then the tissue itself will be totally off. So with this, I would recommend a plunge bra. A plunge bra has a very low neckline. Sometimes a U plunge. Sometimes it doesn't have a gore. When we talk of a gore, it's the center of the blood beneath. I wish to. When you get that, it will push those breasts together. And then I hope you have seen the center. Sometimes people say, I mean, it's just tiring always reaching the back and removing your bra. It's a style.
But when I see those, I'm usually afraid that they might come off.
Yes. I mean, if you have a very good bra, well manufactured, it wouldn't. Yes, but that also works very well for those who have the side by side, because when you clasp it, you are able to push the two breast tissue together, and you get a very.
You wear the t-shirt bra instead. Would you feel uncomfortable, or how would that work?
Because the bra is the breast is on the sides. Sometimes if you don't take care, the underwire in the t-shirt bra might maybe, let's say, choke. You understand? It will not be very comfortable. But the plunge bra normally has a wider set, so it's able to push it in for you.
And before we go ahead, how important is it for women to learn to be vulnerable with people like you when we come into your shop to say, I may not know
a bit vulnerable, because I mean, you're coming to pay money, right, to buy a bra that you wear even more than your shoes or even your clothes outside, the lace that you paid so much money for. So I think that it's easy to come forth, just like you go to your doctor and release yourselves to be advised. Just avail yourself and let us advise you on what will lift you up more. I mean, I'm a very busty person, and by doing this, I've been able to learn a lot about how to, set up, how to, with the right bra, you cannot even slouch, you understand? So it gives you a good posture, it gives you to the right place. Don't just go to Kantamanto, it's not bad though, but even if you know what I'm talking about, if you listen very well, you'll be able to sort yourself out, how to do your own measurements and also identify the kind of breast you have, and then do proper shopping when you go to the low.
Let's continue.
So we have a breast form called the belt, and it rounds up at the bottom. Okay, so it means that this person has a lot of tissue underneath the breast. So how do we push this kind of breast up? You need to get we have this bra that we call the Rosa bra. It has a beautiful molding, and when you put the breast tissue in there, it lifts the bell part, the rounded part up, and you get that beautiful cleavage. I hope you can show a picture of that. So this particular person has the bell, but at least now there's a little bit of volume up, a little bit of volume that has come up by wearing the Rosa bra.
Wow.
You understand?
So it just pushes it up.
It pushes everything up for you. Yeah, this one is a very vivid example. Look at the cleavage she's getting, but the breast is bare. Do you understand?
So if she didn't have on this bra, you wouldn't feel that full effect. It will look like it's slightly sagging.
Sagging slightly. Yes. Yes.
Nice.
Yes. So we have also the round shape bra. The round shape is those that are equally full on top and at the bottom. So they have, I mean, those ones that women we envy and then men love. You understand? They have that perfect, awful.
I think I'm a round shape now that we're talking about it.
Good for you. I'm jealous. I'm jealous. So I mean, those breasts, they don't need much. I would say that they can go for some lacy, something nice. Some lacy bra to just accentuate their bodies and feel good in. Sometimes you don't want your breast to jiggle too much. You want to be able to control the nipple and stuff like that. So you need to wear some nice little bits of coverage.
Because you already have that
everything
full
everything is in place.
Wow. Okay. Round shape.
Yes, round shape. So we're going to slender. This is a slender breast. These people don't have breast tissue. The breast starts off from the bottom and it just falls. So some are born naturally like that. Sometimes to time and events, childbirth, aging,
they'll play a role.
They play a major role in having the slender breast. And so when you have a slender breast, you have to start a little bit of padding to cushion the breast up.
Is that when you start thinking of push-up bras, perhaps?
Sometimes you look at push-up bras to just give you that
lift,
that kind of lift and disgrace the devil.
Exactly. I like
and
that.
Also the plunge bra also helps because normally they want to have a little bit of cleavage, but this plunge bra, I would recommend that you have some, how do you call it, padding on the sides and at the bottom, so that it would release a lot of pressure to give the breast tissue more energy on top and on the sides. Yes. So let's look at teardrop breast.
Hey, I thought the round one was
you chose that one, so you can't.
No, I'm teardrop now.
There is the teardrop.
Well, all breasts are perfect, by the way. All breasts are perfect.
There is a teardrop. This teardrop breast is perfect in shape. As in, it starts off a little light, just a little light, and then it drops roundedly. I mean, beautifully rounded on the bottom.
Wow.
Okay, so if you remember the depot people, when you are checking them out, you see some of these with the So this is the teardrop, and they can just choose any bra to wear. They don't need.
They don't stress out when you go.
They just decide that, okay,
I can just put this on.
Let me just put this on. I think it's beautiful. And it's just accentuates the breast.
Wow.
Right. So this, they wear every style. From the Rosa bra, from the t-shirt bra, the lacy bra, the plunge. They can do anything they want.
The world is theirs.
Their last babies.
Wow.
Okay, so finally, it's finally.
Teardrop, if you are
side
by side. I mean, you have to know, you know. So this is, our friends at AHA have brought this to us. Share your epiphany right now with us. The hashtag is Breakfast Daily, and WhatsApp line is 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233, and it might shock a lot of us that more men will be submitting messages in, because men pay a lot of attention to our breasts than sometimes we do.
More I mean, lingerie averse, and they come in to shop lingerie for their wives. I mean, we have a questionnaire that makes it easy for them to, we help them decide the sizes.
Wow.
And it's normally about 98% correct.
Wow. Now, I'm going to read some of your messages, but again, how once a year I buy everything I need at a go. I don't even think about the price, and then I'm done, because I know that for the rest of the year I have what I need to go. But some people will be thinking pricing, blah, 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 without necessarily understanding how comfortable it will make you once you get the right bra.
Comfortable, yes. Another C is confidence.
Yeah.
When you have the right undergarment, it really conditions your mind and gives you that go on approach. I mean, I'm sexy inside. You can't do me nothing. You understand? So I think that don't only worry about buying the most expensive lace and have a wrong undergarments that makes you look unlifted or unguarded. You understand? When you have the right one, I'm telling you, I see some women, when they get the outfit, you know that, I mean, this woman has it going. Wearing the right one even gives you that, you know,
I'm sexy and I know
it. You're right. I'm sexy and I know it kind of feeling. You understand? So invest in the right lingerie to boost your self-confidence, to boost your shape in terms of your silhouette, your posture, and why not? I mean, you have a partner in the house. I mean, do you have to speak well of us? So
the last one.
Yes.
Let's do the last one.
The last one is asymmetrical shape.
Ooh.
All right. So this kind of breast is long and short. They are not the same size. Okay. So and it normally happens that the big breast is on your dominant hand.
Okay.
So if you're right-handed, normally the bigger breast is on the right side. Okay. Now for this kind of breast, I would recommend a bra that has removable padding, so that the bigger breast, you would remove the padding, and the smaller one would be helped with the padding, so that they look the same. Now let's come back to the Rosa bra. The Rosa bra has
that's the one before this.
The one before that, the black one, I think. Okay. Okay, so this one. Okay, so this one has a great mold, not too rigid, but it contains the breast. Okay, so it gives it that equal shape, right? As we see, the gore is well centered on the person, and it has filled out beautifully. Wow. So these are the breast shapes that we have.
Ooh. Tell us where to find you, how important it is to not just know your cup size and support you, because all breasts are perfect, okay? Breast lives matter, actually.
Yes, it really matters. Okay, so AHA brands, we have shops at Accra Mall and West Hills Mall.
Nice.
Okay, so we are opened from 10 o'clock to 7 p.m. And we have bra fit experts in the shops who are very well versed into bra fitting. So when you come and you tell us you don't need to say, if you don't know your size, don't worry. Some people are very embarrassed about that. But you realize that as soon as you go there, they have tape measures that they are ready to measure you up, and then after you with or that suits you much better.
Thank you very much, Mami. So you have some messages here. Okay, I don't know if she can answer this, but how can I enlarge my breast naturally, please? That's one question for you. I'll give you all the questions. I love AHA bras. They are durable, comfortable, and sexy.
Wow, that's a good
Some of your customers are watching. Please, what are the things you are supposed to do to lift up sagging breasts? So we talked about a specific bra for that. I think push-up bras might help. Ghanaian men usually prefer the heaped, rounded shaped breast. This is coming from Joe. I think Joe is speaking for himself. In Adenta. Is it true that braziers can cause breast cancer? I don't think so. No, they don't. Our bras are very comfortable and quality. I love them. Kudos, Mami Isi.
Wow.
You're saving a lot of women's lives. You have no idea.
I'm so happy.
the question about the
augmentation or how to naturally...
How to enlarge. You know, when we were younger, people said you take something...
There's something on the floor. I mean,
No, we're not doing that.
Go.
Oh, you did?
I didn't.
I was afraid. Okay, because clearly here, I didn't do it.
No, but my mom is very busty. But I mean, then I was eager to. So I mean, after school we pick it up and try it. The things we've done. Really.
I took forever to get boobs, by the way. Like I thought I would never
got it,
go
and you are
boobs.
not so excited.
No, I mean it's still small compared to you.
Okay, so
take
I mean,
what God gave you.
If the person is talking about surgery, no.
Okay.
I am a lingerie or bra expert, so there are bras that I can give you to give you that look,
that you're looking for.
That men would at the end of the day say, really?
Yeah.
I have that bra. So you come to Accra Mall or West Hills Mall.
Thank you very much, Mami Isi, for being with us. It's always an honor. And I'm happy you're not here on breast cancer. We're just here for having
to
fun.
talk about our girls.
Yes, girl stuff. We're going to talk to Senna Hooks soon, but we'll check out his new video and then we'll talk to him. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey, oh na 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 na, hey, it's your boy again. Senna. It's a praise song, it's a praise song.
It's Yatola on the beat.
All you and me, Baba girl, no need. Sick of freeway, I did survive. No, we not be easy, but I'm thanking God for my life. I see the see so today. When you don't know what to say, everything I get today, here we go, we make a way. As them they see you rise, they still wanna pull you down, oh. My brother don't hold me, stay big away my crown, oh. Them times they know they marry, now them they wanna see me, them times they wanna say,
So we have the petroleum geoscientist here himself, Senna Hooks.
Right.
No one would even think there's another side of you when we see you like this.
Yeah.
Right. Where have you been? We haven't seen you in a minute.
So after I dropped my album, I went out for a bit.
You went to collect all the big currencies, and you came to drop some two singles on us.
I just want to provide a service.
Hey, was it pro bono? Like the Mr. Oh, but we love your
Thank you. So I was in a very, very good space with that particular song, which is that's the Oh Girl Oh. And it's just us. I think people in relationships always look forward to having a marriage, a successful one at that. So me being in that space, the girl at that time I was thinking about while I was writing it was just doing the right things.
Wow.
So I was just addressing
maybe some girls are listening and they want to know.
It's as simple as when I text, you text back. When I call, when you miss my call, you call back. And I even said it in the very first line.
So it gave you a good feeling.
A good feeling to write that song. And the feeling was
I think I know that feeling.
So do you fellas mind sharing who these girls are that are making you feel this way? Let me shout them out.
Another day, another show.
Senna Hooks Music on Facebook.
And your YouTube channel?
So Senna Hooks Music Official.
Nice.
Yes,
now we talk about Oh Girl. Talk about the other one.
So God it's people's favorite actually. And yesterday we celebrated 1 year of the album.
Wow.
So for us
Happy anniversary.
For us to have something to push out, we decided to put together God do them.
Okay.
Because if it wasn't for God, we won't be standing here today. And these are also troubling times. So in other words, once you're able to wake up in the morning to even breathe, walk, talk, if you got to do one.
Meet girls who make you feel like, oh girl, oh. That's all God's doing.
Right.
Thank you so much, Stella, for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And thank you at home for staying for Breakfast Daily. My name is Jifa.
Well, before we go,
hey, we have a birthday shout out that I almost forgot, and then Vicky will kill us.
I'm going to do that. I know, right? So happy birthday to Joel Dogbe, who's an electrical engineer at Enclave Power, from your lovely sister, Victor.
So we'll do that.
It's a hashtag, Breast Lives Matter.
Thank you guys so much for joining us.
And my name is David Kwekusichi.
We'll see you 7:30 tomorrow. Bye-bye.